what is a minimum viable, safe, and sound container for people that feel drawn towards healing, towards ingesting sacred medicine? But kind of what are the check boxes that you recommend people should check before they go into ceremony?
Yeah, I think that's really important. First of all, you want to know the intentions of the location where you're going, not just the intentions of like a safe professional place, but the actual intentions of the practitioners. And the best way to do that is to find out others and the experience that they had, and or talk with them yourself. But we're very open about that at Blue Morpho. We fundamentally say we're here to fulfill your intentions. And so that was something that I came up with, sort of like a bridge of logic, where I didn't have to have individual intentions for that session or that ceremony, but everybody came with their intentions. So my intention was to give maximum effective transformation, maximum realization of your intentions, so that we would always be aligned. And those intentions wouldn't only come from your mind, but they would actually come from your heart. And even deeper than that, sort of like your connection to source or your connection to soul. So it would be something that was truly innate and positive and beneficial to you, and something that I could support in a very direct way, even without having to know the individual intentions for people who, are gaining trust and they don't want to open up so much. So intention, I think, is unbelievably important. The second part is knowing the track record that the people have, like how much experience do they have? For instance, not to say that new people in the space don't deserve an opportunity to also get to share, but, experience in sense that then if they're new, well, what training do they have? And how much experience do they have personally? Like in our lineage, you're considered interesting to the practitioners when you have 1,000 ceremonies of experience. So as an apprentice, when you get to amass 1,000 ceremonies, that's when you're sort of looked at again, or that's when you're considered to have graduated to another level. Well, that typically takes somewhere between 10 and 15 years. That's if you're practicing full time at over 100 ceremonies a year. And that's not just personal training ceremonies. Those all have to be ceremonies where you're actually working, performing, the tribal medicines, or healing people, or ultimately supporting their growth and development. So I think looking at the track record, then the quality of the ability, if you're going to have a larger ceremony, what kind of support are there? How well did they have that organized? There's the ceremonies that take place literally just sitting in the forest, and there are ceremonies and infrastructure that's created specifically for the ceremony. You want that to actually be supportive of your ceremony. So we have special built infrastructure where there's enough bathrooms, for instance, for everybody. We have support staff of the people who are fully trained, like I am, and then we have fully trained other kind of support staff, very much where you'd think of like a surgeon and nurses. So we have staff like that are there. And then we also have local staff that are just supporting the orchestration of the ceremony to actually help you get to a bathroom or back, or be able to change your bucket if you vomited, or can provide you another blanket. So there's a question around, how that space is actually being maintained. I think they also want to look at the intention of the ceremony itself. Like our intention is to minimize the negative effects on you physically, so that it's actually the easiest on you. It's not this bravado and ego about how intense the experience is going to be and how much somebody's going to vomit. That's like the exact opposite idea. We want you to have a cleanse, literally a cleanse. It's a transformation for you. So think about it. If you were like a snow globe, and we're going to shake it up as hard as you possibly can and just destroy you, that's sort of one technique that people use, which we don't. We use the technique where we're very gentle with you, but very profound, because we believe the deeper you can go inside, and the deeper you can go into your own experience, the deeper you can go into that very, very deep calm, create like a Satori kind of experience for you, this enlightened, blissful state, that from there, the visions can become 10 out of 10. You can receive the most. If you're tense, you can't receive, you can't let go. There's this talking about letting go. Well, we want you to be already letting go. We want you to be fully trusting of that experience. And so that's a technique that we've developed over the last 20 years to provide really maximum support and effectiveness of the ceremonies. I think it's also important to understand language. And if somebody's there who can speak your language and really translate for you, so that you can be heard and you can express yourself and know that you're being understood in your language. So all of those things combined, I think, are incredibly important. It's how we've built our container. And I think the final part is, do they teach you how to hold the container? There's this idea that the practitioner is supposed to hold the container, but the truth is everybody in the room needs to hold the container. And one of the things we do is that we provide a lot of support even before people come on the retreat to learn about the container that we hold, how everybody's going to behave in the ceremony, what the guidelines are for safety, how we're going to do this so that everybody is a responsible party to that container and creates really the most optimal conditions for themselves and everybody else that's part of the retreat.
Yeah, what are the different maybe Lego blocks within a process design that you think are important?
I think the most important thing is that you find a framework that resonates with you. I think the hardest thing is to import a framework that you just don't connect with. So some are very mental and some are very complicated and some are actually very heart-centered and very simple. I think like the easiest framework for going into all psychedelic experiences is make it about your true intentions, make it about heart and source, make it about a deeper and more profound state of consciousness. And if any healing comes up that you need to go through in that ceremony, just embrace it, receive it. That's why you're there. So I saw so many people over the years scared to actually receive the transformation and the healing. I thought, like, this is a graduation. If you're there for a transformation, that's not the negative part. You've already lived through the negative part. So then we were people getting ready to go to the ceremony and just starting to have anxiety and fear about what could possibly happen. The great part is about to happen, but we have to go into the heart to be able to have it that way, because the mind can become chaotic in that experience. I think also for psychedelics, it's important to awaken the imagination. So a lot of people don't do this part of it. They don't understand that just, in the week before going, or even a little longer if you want to, do meditations, but where you're actually really imaginative. Like do a meditation with a flower and imagine every single aspect of the flower, look at it at the whole flower, individual pieces, see if you can zoom all the way in on the pollen, get that in your mind, move away from the flower and see if you can recreate all of that in your imagination. So many people are so linear thinking that they don't understand that part of this is another part of the brain. Psilocybin journeys are so incredible for awakening the whole brain function and getting that aspect of the visionary context going. But it's not just an intellectual linear process. It requires really the rest of the brain to open up. So if you do that work before, or that practice before going into the ceremony, it's just that much easier to get it going. The other part of it, I think, is look at frameworks that are really about focusing on a progression and transformation instead of becoming identified in the process that you're in. So I see one of the big things happening now, which I'm highly questioning, is why people are moving into quote unquote healing. And then they say they're healing for so long. For us, healing was a very acute, short-lived part of the process. There would be times when we would need to heal again. Things happen in life. But when you would come, especially to ayahuasca ceremony, we could get through the healing part in anywhere from 3 to 10 journeys. You could be completely done with it. That could take one person maybe in their lifetime a year if they're really dedicated to it. Come, have healing journeys, integrate it. Come another time, have healing journeys, integrate it. The healing part's done. Now we move on to the expansion and the learning and the growing part. So that's kind of a framework. Like healing, you start with healing, but healing can move very, very quickly. Then you integrate. And then from that integration, you move to about learning and knowledge and consciousness expansion, the transformation through a series of ceremonies.